Hello, our team is the Alpha Defenders, and our game is called Mariana's Fathom. Mariana's Fathom is a 2D side-scrolling roguelike adventure game for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. It can be played in single player, but supports up to 4 players online. The target audience is young adults aged 16 to 30. Before each round, the team will get together on a boat and gather supplies before voting on one of 5 procedurally generated maps. The first 4 can be completed in any order, and the 5th one has a final boss that requires the 4 level keys to unlock. There will be 2 kinds of enemies in each level, as well as a boss at the end that's a bigger version of one of the mobs. The player will fight these enemies with an arsenal of underwater weapons, featuring a harpoon gun, naval mines, and ink bombs. The first of the 5 core mechanics is the timer. Each player has their own oxygen tank that acts as the round timer. When their timer is up, they immediately return to the boat. As the players upgrade their oxygen tanks, their timer gets longer so they can dive deeper. The second core mechanic is attacking. The player has a harpoon as their main weapon, which will shoot in the direction of the mouse on left click, or the direction of the right analog stick on right trigger press for consoles. Players can also use a variety of secondary weapons with the right mouse button or left trigger, such as squid ink bombs to stun enemies, naval bombs that float in place for setting traps and escaping, and death charges that sink and explode after 2 seconds. The third core mechanic is sharing, because sharing is caring. In Mariana's Fathom, you can drop items using the Q key for your teammates to pick up, including ammo, treasure, and consumables. If another player can't afford something in the shop, you can buy it and drop it for them to pick up. The fourth core mechanic is voting and choosing. In between each round, the players choose what map they want to dive in. In multiplayer, each person's choice is counted as a vote, and in the case of a tie, the game will randomly choose between them. The fifth and final core mechanic is trading, which includes buying and selling. After each round, when the players return to the boat, they'll be able to access a shop where they can upgrade their harpoon, oxygen tank, and flippers for swim speed. The shop also has an unlimited stock of consumables such as ammo for your harpoon, secondary weapons, and healing items. The first of our competitors we'll look at is a game called Far Sky. Despite the name, the game is actually an underwater survival game, where the player must survive shark attacks and limited oxygen. Our second competitor is Phasmophobia. It's a 4-player cooperative horror game, where the players work together to identify ghosts. Some shared themes are the map being chosen before each randomly generated round, shopping after each round, and sharing items. The third and final competitor is Subnautica, which is very similar to Far Sky. Subnautica is an underwater survival game where you fight fish to gather resources and have limited oxygen before you have to return to your boat. Our game is unique compared to the others, in part because of our roguelike design. If all of the players die in a round, they lose all of their progress. However, if even one team member survives, the rest will respawn after the round. Another part of the roguelike design is the procedurally generated levels. Even though there are only 5 unique areas, each time you play, you'll be in a brand new map. Second, all of the competitors are 3D first-person games, while Mariana's Fathom is a 2D side-scroller. Finally, if you beat the first 4 bosses, collect their keys, and reach the bottom of Challenger's Deep, you can fight Cthulhu, and none of the other games have great old ones in them. Finally, here are some mock-up gameplay situations. Starting with the one on the top, we see 2 players sharing resources. The orange player gave the purple player some of their ammo. On the bottom left, we can see a group of players using an ink bomb to escape a hostile fish. On the bottom right, we see a very brave solo player preparing to fight that same fish.